Comrades, this week, Tuesday is budget day. And they said that we couldn't have no budget. But let them know that Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, the House of Assembly will be meeting, and Dr. Denzel Douglas, our Prime Minister, will deliver the budget for the people of this country. That is a demonstration of full confidence in your government, full confidence in your Labour Party. Comrades, last week Thursday, I said to you in St. Paul's that Tuesday not only the budget day, but Tuesday is also Red Day in the country. Wherever you be, wherever you're going, put on your red come Tuesday. Put on your red come Tuesday. Wherever you be, put on your red, because Red Day is on Tuesday. Tuesday is a demonstration of full confidence in your Labour government. Tuesday is a demonstration of full confidence in your representative in constituency number 2. Comrades, those two, as Comrade C.J. Clyburn said, they will enter, they're going to leave us. But the Labour Party is stronger than ever now. Stronger than ever now. There were persons who think that because they're gone, that the Labour Party going to fall, and they're going to form some unity government. But no unity government could take on this Labour Party. This party is 80 years old. This party older than all of them. Older than all of them. So let them go where they're going. This party will continue, and this government will continue from strength to strength with your support.
I would like to let some people know, stronger than ever. All the fans up in Toronto, stronger than ever.
As he said, with friends in Toronto, I want to say good night to all those people who are listening on us. They're looking at this meeting tonight. You see, they set up behind here. They're streaming live all over the world. I want to give the team behind here a round of applause from Ronnie Rascal, the cameraman, and all the good people behind here. Sending this meeting international. The people in New York listening to this meeting. The people in New York looking at this meeting. The people in Miami listening to this meeting and looking at this meeting. The people in Canada looking at this meeting. In England, all over the world, they're looking at this meeting. That is how big Labour be. That is how big Labour be. Give the people all over the world who are listening to Labour a round of applause. Let them see you. And when you get a chance, turn it on the crowd. Because they want to say we got a small meeting. But let them see we got a big crowd here tonight. Massive crowd here tonight in Central Bastille. Comrades, I want you to help me to welcome to the microphone. Our next speaker is our own Minister of Education. The man who has been working in that ministry and working in the ministry, in the new ministry, he has just taken over the Ministry of Agriculture. I want you to help me to welcome to the microphone the Honorable Nigel Carty, our Minister.
Thank you very much, comrade, the Honorable Dr. Asim Martin. Give him a round of applause. Comrades, I feel so proud to be a supporter of the Labour Party at this time in the history of the organization. At no time in the history of this party have the people come home to Labour more than tonight. Because the people recognize that when Labour needs their support, they must come out and give them their support to Labour. I want to thank the Honorable Dr. Asim Martin for the sterling commencement of this meeting tonight. And I am happy for the turnout of the Labour people who are here this evening. I want to welcome all of you, wherever you have come from. Central Bastille people, let me see you raise your hand. East Bastille people, let me see you raise your hand. West Bastille people who leave some already, raise your hand. I want to welcome you wherever you have come from and to ask you again to put your hands together for our Deputy Prime Minister and the leader in number one. Number one, the Honorable Dr. Earl Asim Martin, our Deputy Prime Minister. Dr. Asim Martin is a man who has given sterling service to the Labour Party in government since 1995 and on the campaign trail and in the organization since 1993 and before. Dr. Asim Martin knows what it is to serve without question, without strife, without grudge, without undermining. Dr. Asim Martin is not a perfect human being. He's like everybody else, but he knows that service to the people is about service to the people and not service to self. And why we are where we are is because there are people who for many years have thought that power must belong to them. Since 2000, Dwyer Astafan had been walking around telling people that he should be the Prime Minister because he beat Kennedy Simmons. Dwyer Astafan never put his name up for leadership of the party at the party conference. Timothy Harris never put up his name for leadership at the party conference. Sam Conda never put up his name at conference for leadership of the party. But they're all looking shortcut. They know that the people of the party support Denzil Douglas and the policies of Labour. And they know that to challenge Douglas at the Labour Party conference would be their own demise, would spell their own doom. And they have never. Denzil Douglas has been the leader of the party since 1989. And none the likes of Dwyer Astafan, none the likes of Timothy Harris, none the likes of Sam Conda ever once, not even once did they stand up before the conference and say, I should be leader, my time to be leader, because the party and the government are on the wrong track. Never once. But looking shortcut to power, because they have their own grudges. They're spiteful. They have their own personal agendas for self-enrichment. And I'm going to talk more about that later. But I want you to recognize the person who's number one in number two, the Honorable Marcel Libard, the darling of the people of Central Bastille, a competent and committed representative, a competent and caring minister of government. Put your hands together for Marcel Libard. Comrades, if Dwyer Astafan's, Tim's and Sam's problem was Denzil Douglas, why is it in the last election they spent an enormous amount of time and money trying to undermine Marcella in number two, trying to undermine Assem in number one, try to undermine Ghost in number four, try to undermine Norjan in number 5 unsuccessfully, and try to undermine Cedric Libard in number 8. The people in Upper Keon can tell you that Timothy Harris asked them to vote against Cedric and to vote for Hamilton. He went to Keys and St. Peters and Connery. This is not about Denzil Douglas. I want to remind you, this is not about Denzil Douglas. This is about their hatred of Labour, because they have personal agendas that they can't fulfill while Denzil Douglas is the leader of the party and of the government. And so, the issues have not been about the performance of the government. Nobody on the opposition is talking about debt reduction to stabilize the economy. Nobody is talking about our successful fight against crime in the country. Nobody's talking about that. The whole talk is Denzel Douglas. But tell them I say, Denzel Douglas is supported by the people of Labour. Denzel Douglas is being supported by the people of Labour. Denzel Douglas didn't call himself. And Denzel Douglas will not make a decision on his own to renounce the leadership of the party and of the government. It is you who are the supporters, the backbone of the party, of the organization, that will determine when Denzel Douglas has done enough in service to the party and to the people. Comrades, I want to get down to the root of the problem. I want to tell you that where we are, after many years of disrespect by Sam Conda, Tim Harris, and Dwyer Stefan in the cabinet of ministers. In the cabinet of ministers. You can't believe the amount of disrespect, wanting power for themselves, wanting to call the shots. And because Denzel Douglas was determined to keep his government together, intact and proper, working in a serious way to avoid corruption, they said they can't work with that because they want to become rich in government. Dwyer Astafan swore that he must become rich in government. And Dwyer Astafan one day brought a man from Canada and said that he wanted the man to be in charge of the SIDF. The SIDF was not formed as yet. We were thinking about putting something together to get money to build the country. And Dwyer Astafan bring a man from Canada. Says the man is his friend. They went to school in Canada. And he want the man to be the head of the SIDF. And the man would get 50% of the money that go into the SIDF. And he, Dwyer, had his arrangement with the man. He, Dwyer, had his arrangement with the man. So all a Dwyer huff and puff is about one thing. All Dwyer's huff and puff is about one thing. Control of the SIDF. He believed because he looked different than you and me, that he must be rich. He must be rich out of government. That is what he believes. And so the first thing that Dwyer started to talk about when he went out of the government was the SIDF. Everything. And Dwyer is making arrangements now with the PAM people to say that when they get into office, if they do, but they can't. They can't. Dwyer is making arrangement with them that when they get into power, they would put him in charge of the SIDF. That is what he's doing. Selling his soul for 30 pieces of silver. Selling out the Labour Party for 30 pieces of silver. But the Labour Party kicked him out at the right time. Kicked his tail part out. Comrades, you wouldn't understand that over the last many years, it was difficult to keep confidential conversations in the cabinet. Difficult to keep confidential conversations in the cabinet of ministers. When Marriott was going to lay off 68 people toward the end of last year, a letter came from the hotel to the Minister of Labour, Sam Conda. 68 people. 68 real human beings. 68 real human beings to be fired. And Sam Conda said nothing to the ministers in the cabinet. He was sabotaging. His planners told him that he must undermine the government in every way possible to bring the government down. And he was the Minister of Labor, having a serious responsibility to safeguard people's job. And Sam Conda, the first thing he did was to make sure that the letter reached the patches on Win FM. Ministers of the cabinet, Prime Minister and all, learning of the news from Patches radio station. Patches radio show is where we learn the news from. I want you, people of Labour, to recognize that we have done everything to hold everything together. We brought people from Jamaica, people from the US. We are senior people in the organization around here to sit down with us to help us to work out the problems. But those guys had gone a long time ago. They had sold their souls for 30 pieces of silver a long time ago. So, when Sir Probin and Val Morris and all of them down there waiting for them to come for a discussion, they sit down for 2 hours in the office, sit down for 3.5 hours waiting. Them boys said they may come and never come, not until now. I want you Labour people to recognize that this trick about Douglas disrespecting people is a trick to deceive Labour people. And what they have are personal agendas and strategic plans to grab power. Timothy Harris has said to the people all over that for him, it's family first, family second, family third, and everybody else come forth. Everybody else come forth. Everybody else comes forth. And so, Tim Harris has been walking around telling people that you can't get a job because Douglas has stopped it. Well, one lady put him in a place. He said, how come when your brother wanted to be head of the big bank down there, Douglas didn't stop it? How come when your sister wanted to be registrar of the High Court, nobody stopped it? When your sister wanted to be the head of the Legal Services Unit, nobody stopped it. When your brother wanted a big contract to pull dirt for the Solid Waste Management Corporation, nobody stopped it. When your niece, 18 years old, who never walked nowhere yet, never voted yet, wanted a house, she get it. In front of people who waiting for years upon years upon years. Douglas no stop it. Douglas didn't stop that. And so, do not be deceived. Tim Harris, Sam Conda, Dwyer Astafan believe in something they call political psychology. They believe in the art of fooling people. They believe if they say something long enough, loud enough, that people are going to believe it. But we must be wise as serpents, as Labour supporters. Let us not lose track of what we are about. And let us make sure that when the time comes, that we will throw our support in number 2 behind the Honourable Marcel Leibard. When the time comes for us to throw support behind all of the young Labour candidates, wherever they may contest. They have underestimated the resolve of the Labour Party. They have underestimated the resolve of the leadership of this great organization. They have made a terrible mistake. But let me tell you more. Let me tell you more. Because the truth is, Dwyer Astafan used to be a PAM before he ran for Labour in 1993. I remember as a little boy going to Barcy High School, 6th form. I went down Church Street in a place where the Ministry of Education now is. Dwyer was in there, but talking every Labour candidate. from Henry Brown in East Bastille to everybody else running for Labour in Central and West and everywhere else. Dwyer came on board in 1993 because he saw Labour making a good play for political office. And he come and say he want to be in that because he must find a way to enrich himself in government. And after years of trying to run circles around Denzel Douglas, he can't get it to work. So he gave up. 2008, Dwyer left the government. 2008, Dwyer Astafan left the government. But he left with a number of things that he said he wanted to ask for. He asked the government to give him a contract for $100,000 to write a law as the Labour minister, the former Labour minister. And the question was, well, Dwyer, you were the Minister of Labour. Why you want $100,000 to write a piece of law to improve the working conditions of people in the country? Why? Why? He said he wanted it because he got bills to pay. And he got things to do with money. And he know what money all about because he come from money. And Dwyer get the money. And Dwyer start to do the work. And when Dwyer realize he can't do the work, he give back the money. When he realize he can't do the work, trying to put himself into things that he can't do. Dwyer is the only lawyer in the country who can't represent nobody before the court. Dwyer can't even do a dog bite case. He can't represent nobody in the court. You would never see Dwyer one day in the court representing people. Not one day. Because he doesn't have the training and the capacity to do it. But want a lot of money to write law that he ain't nothing about. And Dwyer asked for all sorts of things. And when February of 2009 came, and Dwyer had been in the politics for 13 and a half years, the magic number for Dwyer was 13 and a half years. But let me tell you the secret behind the magic. The Pension Act for parliamentarians says that if you work 13 and a half years as a politician, you get your maximum pension. So in February of 2009, exactly 13 and a half years, exactly 13 and a half years when he qualified for a pension, he started to give Labour some licks, left, right and center. The first meeting he had, press conference, was one with Washi and there. You remember? 13 and a half years. Dwyer had set his house in order to receive his pension. He receiving $4,000 from Social Security. He receiving $7,000 from the government every month. So Dwyer good to go now. Dwyer good to go. Dwyer mortgage don't pay off. Dwyer mortgage don't pay off. And Sam Conda came with the same thing. Sam Conda said in the other day in cabinet, he says, I am 62. I just made 62. I got me Social Security going for me. And I done so 13 and a half years. The whole thing go mash up now because Sam Conda good to go. The same thing, Tim Harris. He good to go. He good to go. He good to go. Well, you say she, not me. Are you say she, not me? And so, comrades, I want you to recognize in closing that this really has been about a power struggle. The people who came in from Jamaica to sit with us to help resolve our problems said, members, this is a power struggle. This is nothing about no working in government and not Denzel Douglas. This is a power struggle. I said to the man, I asked him, Mr. Man, please break down that for me. What do you mean by this is a power struggle? He says, in this room, there are people who want one of two things. You have people who want leadership of the government for themselves. People who want leadership of government for themselves. And number two, you have people who want to do as they feel like. And when they can't do as they feel like, they say Douglas keeping them down, and Douglas bad, and Douglas this, and Douglas that. Sam Conda has no respect for anybody. This is one of the only Labour representatives who has hardly done anything for his constituency. Nothing. 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 For years, since I'm a young fella, Sam Conda keeps coming to the party conference saying that he wants a playing field for the people down boys. Since I've been in the cabinet since 2004, Sam Conda never brought one single proposal, not one single proposal to advance the project in Boyds. Not once. Not once. He was the Minister of Sports in the first 5 years. Not one thing did he do to advance. The man is not able. He's not able. He doesn't think for himself. Oh, you know who to think for him? His mama the thing for him. His mama thinks for him. He can't think for himself. This is a man who come to cabinet, support one position. When he go home and his wife tell him something, he come back with a different position. He say, I'm now against what I was for last week Monday. I am now against what I was for last week Monday. Because somebody whispered in my ear and tell me, this is the position going forward. I want to tell you something further before I close. Because it is important for you to understand properly that this is a politics of self for Dwyer Astafan, Sam Conda, and Timothy Harris. It's a politics of self. Sam Conda expects to ask the cabinet to sell his son land for $2 a square foot over on Kim Collins Highway. He said he's deputy prime minister, his son, the best land in the country, $2 per square foot. The cabinet said, well, when ordinary poor people buying for $4 and $5 a square foot, why should your son get it for $2? And Sam Conda get vexed. Sam Conda wanted his son to block off the road at Christmas time 24/7 for 3 weeks. And the people in the cabinet said, no, let the man use the street during the night, pack up during the day. He said, here the deputy prime minister, block off the road 24/7, 3 weeks. And Sam Conda get vexed. Sam Conda, his wife, work at the hospital on contract. I want you to listen carefully, you know. Because you are sensible Labour people. Sam Conda, his wife, worked at the hospital on contract. When you work on contract, you work on contract. When you work on contract, you work on contract. You get your monthly salary, and at the end you get your gratuity. Crazy people say they want pension from a contract. How could you get pension from a contract? It's like when a man build a house for you. He got a contract with you. He build your house. Contract come to an end. He got his last down payment. And when he done, he asking you for pension for the rest of your life. These are the kinds of things that have driven the wedge deeper and deeper between these guys and the Labour Party. It's a politics of self. It's a politics of self. I want to encourage you to stay focused, to have confidence in this great Labour Party. Have confidence in Marcella Liebert. Have confidence in Dr. Martin. Have confidence in Denzil Douglas. Have confidence in your St. Kitts-Nevis Labour Party. Good night, comrades, and God bless you.
Dear Father, please open our eyes to see all the things that you, Lord, want us to be. Our people that do not have a vision, inevitably shall perish from on this earth. So excuse me if I have some apprehension, as it seems we are living with our eyes wide closed.
Comrades, give Nigel Carty a round of applause. Nigel warm tonight. He take over from me tonight. I'm cooling it tonight. Welcome our leader, our Prime Minister, Dr. Denzil Douglas.
Dressed in costume, food and drink being consumed. Young people walking up, old people jumping up. Woman with child in hand, chipping behind a costume van. I see big truck keep coming down, kicking off heavy sound. So guys,
Comrades of Labour, comrades in Central Bastille, comrades in Central Bastille, comrades in Central Bastille. I just want to underline one point Nigel made. Comrades, somebody told me today that they were listening to news on Win FM. On Win FM. And the man who was up in number 3, the man who's saying that he used to jam them, hold your corner. You remember him? He said that I can't make decision for myself. He said I can't make decision for myself. He said I can't make decision for myself and people just rule me. I wonder who he was talking about. Because me just make my decision for myself. Me not got to wait to go home to make no decision for nobody. Me ain't got to go home to change my mind. I ain't got to go home. Me ain't calling no name. But me ain't got to go nowhere to make no decision. Nigel was correct. He going to say one thing today. And by the time he come tomorrow, he got a different point of view on the same matter. Can't make a decision for himself. With the forwardness. But I can't make decision and people just rule me. For 13 long years, he in cabinet sleeping. Every time he come cabinet, he drop sleep. Let the story be told. I want to be not gonna to and fro with nobody. Me want gonna to and fro with them. But ask anybody. You could ask Hobby. Even Dwyer used to complain. Dwyer used to go on the road and say, I got one sleeping minister. All he used to do in cabinet is sleep. By the time he come, he dropped sleep. We used to have a story and all. You could sleep but don't snore. Sleep but don't snore. Come cabinet, he sleep till he's snoring. Disturbing the meeting. Talking about people that make decision and who can't make decision. Me make decision for myself. Me ain't got to go nowhere to make no decision. When I say something, I mean what I say. If I could do something, I can tell you I could do it. If I can't do it, I can say I can't do it. Or I'm going to say, well, I'm going to try to see what I could do. Or the best what I could do. That's how it go. That's how it go. So it go. So Nigel is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. With the forwardness about Hobby can make decision, and Cedric can make decision, and Asim can make decision. Rule by who? I wonder who ruling him now. I wonder if it ain't Dwyer ruling him. All kind of people ruling him. You should have seen Friday like a baggage boy. lifting up the box, opening his car for the lawyer them from Trinidad to go in. You should have seen him. You should have seen him like an errand boy. Up and down behind Pam. Up and down behind Sean. Up and down behind Hamilton. You should have seen him Friday in the courthouse.